get started. Click this Start Working button on the interface and close the interior window by clicking this little X on the upper right side. And so you're left with a gray screen there, and you go New, select the New Standard IPT, Create, and we're creating a propeller. And I'm visualizing what the blades in the nose cone of this propeller look like so that I can just create a simple, small scale VTOL model. And then I'm going to start a 2D sketch on the XY plane. First step to do is create the nose cone. So I'm going to select this origin point, drag my cursor to the right. And then I'm going to maybe type 1.5 inches, enter, and then I hit escape. There I have a line that's 1.5 inches. And now I'm going to select the line tool again and go up the y-axis and make it 3 inches. So as I'm moving up the y-axis, I take my hands off the mouse, type 3, and then enter, and then escape. And so now I have what amounts to an L, 1.5 inches along the x-axis, 3 inches along the y-axis. Then I change the tool to the arc tool. Click, and I select the point of my nose cone, click, and drag it down to this rightmost segment, line segment, click, and then just create a bit of an arc that looks like a nose cone, click. That's half a nose cone to you. And take this rectangle to create some unique details. Now I've drawn the rectangle here and I just use the trim tool. So I draw the rectangle, select the trim tool, and then maybe zoom in with my mouse wheel and select the parts of this rectangle that I don't want to revolve. That will just give me a little detail for interest. And then now that this is my nose cone, so I'm now going to finish sketch. And now that's done. I go to revolve, click, and you'll get this pop-up. If you've done it right, the profile will turn blue, and you may have to select this axis red arrow here. Click, and then just select the axis. Oops. Cancel and try again. Revolve. Just click the axis. That's all you have to do. Click, and then OK. So there's my nose cone. Now I want to create the blades. So what I'll do is just use this rotation cube to rotate a little bit so that I can see the bottom of my nose cone and start a 2D sketch on the bottom of this nose cone. Click. See how it flattens out and turns it to a circle. And then I'm going to use what's called the spline tool. Under the line tool, there's a little tiny arrow. Select it and select the first one. Spline control vertex. Click. And then what I usually do is zoom out and then use the pan tool. It is always helpful to have a mouse. Why you wouldn't use a mouse, I don't know. But grab that mouse and make sure that you can use this pan tool. Now, I'm in the spline tool feature. I select this origin. Click. And then I'm going to create the blade shape. I'm just going to go up here. Click, click. This takes practice. It's kind of fun to play with. Click, click. And then back to the origin. Click. And there is a blade shape. If you hit escape a couple times, now you'll see these little circles. You can use these circles to change the shape of the blade, but the blade design is your choice. I think it adds interest if you make it a unique shape. It's an experimental VTOL that I'm going to create. See how I'm just adjusting the shape of it. There you go. Now that you've got one blade, you use the circular tool. Here's the circular tool right by the dimension tool. So you select it, you select the profile line, click, and then you change the button to axis. You click this red arrow here, click, and then click the center origin. That's your axis. Click. The default amount is 6, and it just takes your blade and evenly distributes it 6 times around a 360-degree circle, but I don't want that many blades. I'm just going to use actually 3. You can change it to 3 or 5, maybe 5 would be kind of cool. I'll click OK. Once you've done that, you're ready to go. You go finish sketch. And then you're going to want to maybe zoom out of it. And then extrude. Select extrude. You can move this. And then select each of your blades. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you can see the thickness is way too much, so I changed it to maybe a 0.2. Let's see what that looks like. That seems about right for my model. So now I want the blades to be extruded upwards. So you see they're coming out and you've got this flaw here. So I just select the direction, flipped, click. And when you do that, it changes it to a cut, but you just go to the Boolean tool and select the first one, join, click, and then OK. And now you have solid fan blades that are extruded and it's flat. And also, what I'm going to do on this is put a little circle here so that I can insert it onto a motor. So I'm going to select it, start a 2D sketch, click on the bottom here. You can see that little circle. So I'm just going to take a circle here and go click and stretch and maybe make it a 0.5 and then enter sketch, extrude, and I will just, that's fine if it just cut it. So you go the other direction, and then I believe that's a cut. So there you go. Now that I got it, then I just save this. Okay, so since it's a VTOL, I'm going to add a fairing around this blade because it's a futuristic VTOL craft, vertical takeoff and landing. So the way to do that, maybe configure your blade so that it's like this. It's pointed to the left, it's in the center, and then you're going to select the plane tool. So what you do is you select the plane tool, nothing will happen. You'll need this browser on the left. You go to the origin box or the folder, select that plus sign, select the XY plane, click. Actually, I'm going to turn this to where it says back, let's say. Okay, now you see how it says XY plane, and up in this corner, in the right corner there, there's a little circle. So I click and press and push on that. Just click on your mouse, press down, and then push with your mouse a little bit until you get this pop-up window that shows hopefully 0.00. If it doesn't say 000, then I want you to put a 0 in there, and then you just click the check. Click. And so now you have a plane that slices right through, see, slices right through your propeller. At this point, you can even flip it around like that. It's okay. Either way, I'm looking at the front view, but it's pointed to the right. Start a 2D sketch. Select on the plane on this perimeter line. Click, and that activates it. And now I'm just going to create my fairing by creating some small arcs. Now, if you're not going to be creating a VTOL, then you would not necessarily skip this step. You can skip this step, and I'm going to put arc here and here to round it off. Click, and one here. Click, click, round it off. Once you hit escape, you can also adjust these to make them. So there's my fairing, and then I'm going to go back to the line tool. So here you select the spline, go back to line, and you can draw a little axis line right on the x-axis. Hit escape, finish sketch, revolve, and if you did it right, it'll turn blue. Then you just select your axis, and there I created a fairing. Click OK. So file, save as, and you want to use this up one level and navigate to your remote user, double click G drive, find the folder that you pre-created called prop, boom, boom. And then this is prop 2 for me. Rename every piece and then save. Okay, now we'll make a wing. So go File, New, Standard IPT, Create, start a 2D sketch on the XY plane. I'm going to make my blade about 36 inches wide, so I'm just going to Start a line on the x-axis, type 36, enter, and again, hit escape so you can change tools. And you can see I'm zooming out. There's my 36-inch line. I'm going to use the spline again, spline, control vertex, and just create a wing shape, see? Yeah, that's fine right there. Bingo. And then click the checkbox. There I have a wing shape, and then I'm going to finish sketch, and I'm going to extrude it, let's say, how about 96 inches? 96. Okay. Actually, I like it longer. So I'm going to double click on extrusion and change that to 144. Okay, now on the bottom of this, I'm going to start a 2D sketch on the bottom of my wing and use circles. Change this to about a 30-inch, enter. And there's a copy tool. Select copy, select your circle, select base point, and just click on that origin of that circle and just drag it over here. Sure it's straight. It's about right. Maybe up. Click. Escape. This one could go up a little bit like that. It looks about even. Finish sketch. Extrude. Select. Select. Now I'm going to cut. And then this tool says through all, so select that. I'm cutting through the whole wing. Click OK. Now, that will be my wing. So I'm going to File, Save As, and I'm in the right folder called Prop, so I'm just going to call this Wing 2. This is my second wing, Wing 2. Save. Now I'm going to try to assemble it. So I'm going to go File, New, Standard IAM for assembly, Create. Now I'm going to place wing first. That's my Wing 2. Open. Click. Hit Escape. And immediately right click on this wing, right click, and ground it so that it doesn't move. Grounded. Very well. Now I'm going to place a prop 2. Click. Looks like it fits right in there. And then looking at it from top view, I can just move it over and put that in there. Lift it up. Now, as you can see, that opening looks a bit large. So how can I do that? I still have my Wing 2 open. I can select this plus sign by Extrusion 2, double click, boom, boom, change this to 24. Click. 24. Sketch. File. Save. Wing assembly. That looks like the VTOL that I was expecting, the VTOL blade. Okay, so now since I have the holes the right size, I want to place a second prop. So prop 2 a second time. Click. Just place it right in the center there. Click. And then hit escape. I can look at it from different views. Just make sure that it's about the same height and centered in the center there. Well, I can select the wing, go to this default list, select the drop down, and maybe turn this into chrome polished or carbon fiber. It is futuristic, or polished, aluminum polish. Let's try that. Maybe change this and hold the shift key, this, and change these props to carbon fiber, let's say. Is there a carbon fiber? More lessons to follow, but I hope this one helped. Good luck.